Teemo has been described as many things over the years. Annoying, unfun to play against, but the truth is, he's just a lane bully. Someone with not a lot of health who relies on damage to force kills in lane. So what do you do when you put him up against someone with too much health to be whittled down and a really powerful one-shot combo? I'm talking about Ornn. The first thing you need to buy against Teemo is to buy Magic Resist Veil and upgrade your Q. Against Teemo you're going to go for Force of Nature first item and Magic Resist Boots. Now there's a little bit of a choice here. You can either go for the Spectre Cowl, which is going to build into the Force of Nature, or you can try and build the Magic Resist Boots straight away. The important thing is that if you want to build the Resist Boots, you need to buy a Health Crystal, but to get Spectral Cowl you can buy the Magic Resist. I think getting the Magic Resist is more important than getting health here because it's going to give you more regen, and to be honest, the magic damage blocking from the boots isn't going to make a huge difference unless you already have a lot of Magic Resist. So at level 2 here you can see that Teemo is really trying to keep me off the wave, and that's not a problem. I'm going to use CS with my Q. Teemo has range, Ornn does not, and obviously that means Teemo is going to be a little bit better on the first 2 levels. But as you can see, the constant attacking is triggering my minions to attack Teemo, and he's actually losing more health than I am in these trades, even if I haven't used Grasp once yet. In terms of runes, you definitely have to bring Second Wind, although I think there's no champion that you don't go Second Wind on Ornn against. Yeah, and at level 3, you can see the wave is already shoved into my turret. Get a W on him. There's no good knock up here, but we are winning the trade. We're not going to get the Health Crystal, we're getting the Spectre's Cowl in order to trade better and last longer. At level 3 is when you can start focusing on staying level with Teemo and doing a Q plus E and a W combo like that. That was a good one. Teemo had to flash there. And we're going to leave the wave here, keep shoving it in. There's no need to clear it because we're Ornn. We don't need to back for items. All we need is health and mana, and we have plenty of both. So we're just gonna let the minions live for as long as possible. This is called freezing the wave, and doing so basically means that our minions are gonna die first, and the more minions that die, the less minions Teemo gets to kill. Here we're gonna get another item on Ornn. We're already getting pretty damn ahead of Teemo. Unfortunately, he catches the bush by surprise, but the combo still makes us win the trade. At this point, even if he has the Magic Pen Boots, we've still got slightly more Magic Resist, so we are winning the arms race. And here, we're going to go for a gank. Unfortunately, Kayn doesn't have his ult, and that was a bit of a misplay. Because Teemo might have died, but I used up my ult, used up my flash, and Kayn is dead. In the long run though, it was probably better off. Because as this lane goes on, Ornn is going to get stronger and stronger while Teemo stays more or less the same. The first few levels are where you really have to not die as Ornn, and 3 minutes in and we've done that. Not only do we have the Spectre's Cowl, we now have the Mercury Treads. Now as we continue to play, we're going to have to take advantage of our Q and E combos. When Teemo gets close, you want to try and hit the Q with him slow, and then if it does land, immediately get ready to use your E. You need to time your E so that you actually start using your E before the pillar pops up. That way he has the least time available to dodge. Right here, you can see I start dashing before the pillar comes up, and we get a free kill on Teemo. Whenever you have the chance to play a really strong lane like this, you absolutely have to play Demolish and try and take as many turret plates as you can. The goal is to get as much gold as possible through kills and turret plates to just be a really unkillable tank. That alone can shift the tides for your team. So here, we're not actually going to go for the turret plate because I saw Jonas down there, tried to get a kill on him. Unfortunately, our Zed died way too soon. And Teemo's back to lane. You can see that he's using First Strike. Now, the way Teemo's passive works is that whenever he attacks an enemy champion, like here, you're going to take extra magic damage over time, and that's really good for us. Because every time we take magic damage from that, we're going to be stacking up Force of Nature once it's completed. And that means we're getting to 6 stacks faster, we're getting more damage resistance, and Teemo is actually doing less damage than other AP champions would. And here Teemo is basically lost. He can't do anything except tank our Qs and Es. He has one flash, and that's on a 2.5 minute cooldown, and once that's down, you have so many opportunities to try and get a kill on him. So here he's staying out of Q range, and you want to try and stay on the minions, don't let him get close, make him lose even more gold. Here he does it, and we start with the W instead of the E. He flashes, and ult for flash is a good trade because the cooldown on his flash is longer than my ult. Here we can get Force of Nature. I'm gonna do so, and when you're this fed, you can actually walk up under the turret and just trigger Demolish. I didn't do that here because I was seeing if I could get a kill. Fortunately, the minion damage alone is pretty potent, and we get a turret plate.
Enemy rampage.
It's not going so well in our bot lane, but still pretty equal. For your second item against Teemo, you could, in theory, build Abyssal Mask if you really want to nail more hammer more nails into the coffin for him. But the truth is, it would be better tier to go counter the most fed player on the enemy team, which is Yone. And yeah, there's the strategy of walking under the turret and hitting Demolish. Pretty simple. As you can see, whenever Ornn gets the chance to forge items, you should, because it's gonna be a massive gold diff. Using your Q and E and W whenever they're available to whittle down Teemo's health. This makes Rift Herald a 3v2 fight, because Teemo is absolutely useless. Unfortunately, they are fed enough that they can do really well in the 2v2 fight, and Yone's gonna kill him, but we get the Rift Herald, and here's your choice. Do you want to drop Rift Herald mid, where it can get a lot of plates, or do you want to get it top and get the first gold? I decided to drop Rift Herald mid because he had more plates and Zed seemed like he needed help, plus I was pretty confident that Teemo was getting his ass whooped. So Rift Herald does about 2,450 damage. If it's above that, you're going to need to go in and finish it off, but we do get that. And here I've got enough gold to get Abyssal Mask. I'm actually the most fed player in the game right now, which is pretty crazy when you're on Ornn. So I think that brings an end to the laning phase, and that pretty much summarizes why you shouldn't pick Teemo against Ornn. He's really squishy, which is not good against a champion with such good knock-up combos, and all his damage is magic, which means once Ornn buys a Force of Nature or even a Spectral's Cowl, he's basically full build against Teemo. Teemo has pretty bad wave clear, he doesn't have kill potential, he can't really set up ganks, and so there's not much he can do except tank combos and slowly get his turret destroyed. If you wanted to counter Ornn, you would be better off picking a Bruiser or some sort of true damage user, such as Fiora, Camille, or someone who can more guarantee kills early on, such as Irelia or Sett. We're going to fast forward a bit now and show the rest of the game, highlighting key moments. So this is now less of a how to beat Teemo and lane Ornn guide, and more of a how to be a good Ornn guide. The next question running through your mind should be, what do I need to build to counter the enemy team? At the moment, their most fed player is clearly Yone. He's got a lot of attack speed and a lot of healing because he's got Immortal Shield Bro. Therefore, the item I want to go for is Bramble Vest and a Frozen Heart and a Warden's Mail to build into Randuin's Omen. These three items are really great against Yone, and unfortunately I think I actually regretted buying Abyssal Mask because it was kind of useless. As you can see here, I'm still pushing the top lane, get demolished, but also don't push more than you need to. Ornn is pretty good at getting away from this stuff, but if you get locked down, you're gonna die.
Solitude always meets my expectations.
So next up, we've got a team fight here. You want to hit as many people with Ornn's ult on the way in, and kind of wait until they're all grouped up. And yeah, this was a really good one. Next, you want to try and lock down the enemy squishy and, if possible, kill anyone who's fed. That's why I went straight for Yone and used the ignite on him. Soraka here is on low health, so I went and flashed and finished her off. Unfortunately, the rest of our team all died. It's not good. And here's where Stoneplate is really important. You need Stoneplate if you want to block any sort of burst. It's not just about tanking, it's about staying alive. So here, your W does make you unstoppable, but it also slows you down, so that's why I didn't use it at all. They've got no CC to catch me with. Now Kane's back alive, we can go back for another fight. And again, your job is to lock down squishies with your combos and get them killed with your damage. Here, it's me against Ezreal, knock him down with the ult, land my Qs on him, and unfortunately, his damage is just way too high, and Soraka's there as well. But we do pick up several kills, win the team fight, and win the dragon.
Attack the turret.
Things right. Beer.
Alright, and now the situation is a bit precarious. We've got Elder spawning, and our Kayn has just died. They've got their entire enemy team alive, so we absolutely have to stop them getting the Elder somehow. Shyvana's dead, but now there's a team fight going on we have to clean up. Here, Soraka's low, so I go for her, but she gets away. Yone's got a lot of damage, he kills Blitzcrank. At this point, I've got both Randuin's and Frozen Heart, so I'm pretty confident I can actually tank him. You can see how much damage we're doing to him. Unfortunately, his team shows up, but then
Double kill. Triple kill. Unstoppable. You have slain an enemy. Ace.
And I think that teamfight just goes to show how valuable Stoneplate is when you're surrounded by enemies. I think it also shows how crazy damage can be if you've got someone who can lock down enemies for you. In particular, if you're working with an assassin like Zed. So, while that fight didn't go as we expected it to be, we still won in the end, and that's the important thing. Take Elder, we take Baron, and we take the game.